Hello everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thanks so much for joining me here. We're going to take a quick look at KDA, and before we do, we typically look at Bitcoin, but I'm not a big fan right now. We're just going to not do it because it's just stuck at 61,000 and it's plus or minus a few hundred, and it's really just doing a whole lot of nothing. So anyways, that being said, we're going to look at KDA, of course, and if you're new to the channel, not a financial advisor, this is for educational purposes only, but keep this in mind, I actually love educating other people on how to become better traders. So obviously check out my Patreon community. I actually have a signal group where I share signals for every single trade that I take, one-click follow option through the trading bots. But more importantly, I help educate you on how to become a better trader, and we have such a supportive community. It's a no-brainer, right? So just really awesome, and it's going to be even better too when the bear market emerges. We're going to be able to do very well. I'm looking forward to that. But regardless, let's take advantage of this bull market for the moment, right? So looking at KDA. What we want to do first is work our way down from the one-day chart and kind of see what's going on, right? Because any good trader, in my personal opinion, will look at larger time frames, smaller time frames, and kind of just get a big picture of what's going on, right? So that's what we do. First of all, moving averages are null and void right now. They're way too high. The price is too high. They're not going to matter for some time, but eventually they will. For now, the price kind of bounced off of the 70 on the RSI. That is somewhat of a support level at this point, so that's a good sign. Just keep in mind, we have what's almost 3 white soldiers, and I mentioned that previously too. The fourth candlestick is almost always red. When you have 3 strong bullish days in a row, or 3 strong bullish weeks in a row. For example, Bitcoin had 3 strong bullish weeks in a row, and now it's stuck on stupid. Ever since then, right? It's had almost 2 weeks of solid consolidation / red candles, right? But that was preceded by 3 weeks of solid momentum, okay? From like 40,000 to 67,000. Well, KDA is no exception, right? It went from about 81% in 3 days. That's quite a lot. Believe it or not, that's actually quite a lot, especially if you compare that with a traditional market where 10% is a good gain for a year, right? So there's different stories, obviously. But regardless, looking at KDA, we're fine with the one-day chart. Let's look at the 4-hour and kind of see what's going on here next. And just note that we're above the 50-day simple moving average. That's great. Oftentimes the 50 can work as a support level eventually. So we'll see how that works. It did kind of work as a support here. So that's a good sign. Looking at the MACD, we're soon to have a bearish divergence. So just, again, be prepared for this. The likelihood of it staying this high is fairly low. That's my personal opinion. I don't think it's going to necessarily come crashing back down, but I do think it's going to lose this support here right around $10 and kind of work into the next one of the 2 channels, right? So we'll see what that looks like based on volume. We do also have a probably pretty strong volume. Of course, that's from there. Let's look at just this week here alone, okay? So what does the volume look like right about here? Let's get that guy out of there. Okay. So in this time frame, right? So ever since the 24th of October, what is that? So 24th of October, so that was roughly, what, 12, 13 days ago. We could pretty much just say 2 weeks ago. So in the last 2 weeks, we had a strong accumulation of volume right about $7.17. So it's basically what it is telling us. So for lack of better terms, right here, the current support level, previous resistance level, is being reaffirmed by that volume profile. So that's a good sign. So just keep that in mind. I know that's a ways away, and we don't want to think about that being up at 1080, but that is a consideration. If the price were to come retracing back down, that is a pretty strong support. Moving on to the 1 hour, let's see what's going on here. We're probably well above the cloud, but we're going to travel into it soon. So see how the price responds to the cloud here, right? If the price can continue to stay above, that might be a really good sign. If it travels into the cloud, do not add to your position or buy anything at all, even though there's a strong support level here or potential strong support, based on the simple fact that when the price is in the cloud, the rule is to not buy into it. So if we end up coming out, above the cloud, then it's all good, right? But if it breaks below and it starts trending down, that's considered a sell signal, and you might want to consider doing that. I personally would have taken profits by now. That's just my personal opinion. This is way too overextended. I don't think we're going to get much more out of it. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. But I just want to be real with you. This doesn't feel like it's going to continue much higher. Just based on the candlestick patterns, honestly, that's a big deal. Let's look at TD sequential. We got some resets there. There's nothing really to note except for the fact that we do see it hit a 9 here, and it had this one extra leg up, and then it comes back down to effectively reset. That's pretty standard stuff, and that's why TD sequential is helpful, because it really just helps us understand market exhaustion. So it was effectively exhausted right here, but it tried to leg up again, got resisted out, and it came back down again. So it probably had too high of a standard deviation line. So if you see this on the view app, the price is well above the volume weighted average price, and it couldn't stay up that long, right? If you are too far out of that deviation, the price has a way of correcting itself and bringing it back down. All right, so that's kind of what we're looking at there. So all in all, not too bad. Again, I'm still not bullish on KDA right now, just based on the simple fact that we're 3 days into a exhaustive state. But what we want to look at last here is Fibonacci, and let's just go ahead and see what happens if we get a best case scenario here, right? So let's just say, for example, we get the price to continue to go upwards, right? It just defies the laws of trading and keeps going up, which is all well and good, by the way. Just know it's going to come crashing back down if and when that happens. We could be seeing somewhere in the range of $21.25. And what I mean by that, I think that's more likely a month goal, right? Because if all goes well, say we get best case scenario and it doesn't increase, it doesn't decrease, we get a state of consolidation. Just say we get 2 or 3 days of consolidation, right? Just kind of does one of those. Maybe a little less violent, but yeah, in that range. When that happens and the price does that, it gives it a chance to calm down, right? The RSI starts kind of relaxing a little bit. The MACD starts to decompress, right? Those are all healthy things that allows the bears to take their profits and the bulls to take their positions, kind of just fighting back and forth. But once that occurs and we get just say, I would say a week's worth of consolidation, if we can get this coin to go sideways for a week, then yeah, $21.25 is likely by month end, right? I totally agree with that sentiment. But we can't overlook the fact that we've got these 3, in my opinion, that looks like 3 white soldiers. And I feel as if we're going to see a retracement soon. But maybe this correction that we see here in the upper wick, maybe that's enough. Maybe that's all it needed, right? Perhaps that's all it needs. But why don't we do this here? Let's go ahead and take a quick look at these support levels and just kind of summarize and see where we're at. Because obviously it's working within the range here. So bottom line, the price is kind of stuck in this area. You know what? Hold on. Let's mark this guy as well. I want to have that guy in there first. 786 Fibonacci. Okay. So 3 possible scenarios. Price goes sideways and breaks this little resistance level and goes upwards. Or I think it's more likely the price is going to travel into the cloud and effectively break to the downside. And if it does, it'll be kind of stuck in this channel. Okay. There's a chance it could break down a little bit lower, but just note that we do have, you know, a pretty strong support level right here at about 714. So heaven forbid we lose both these supports, it'll come down and likely bounce off of that. I would actually prefer that to happen because I love buying the dip when it comes down to a major previous resistance level. That's like my thing. I love doing that, and honestly, I would love to see that here. Not that you guys lose your profits, just the general sense that we'd have a better buying opportunity to average down or essentially take a better position to the upside. But, you know, I would say pay close attention to the cloud. How the price responds to the cloud in the next 24 hours is extremely important. If it breaks below, don't touch it, let it go, or maybe consider selling, right? And if it holds this support level and it stays above, just say $10 even as a round number, then, you know, we can get 2 or 3 days above that point, that price point, then we're going to be in pretty good shape, I would say, to be above the cloud back again, and then to maybe consider a leg up, right? But if we lose this cloud here, don't be surprised if it keeps selling off. But there's a good chance, I feel personally, that the price will eventually reside somewhere between $8.38 and $10. That's my speculation here. So my prediction in the next week is the price to be in that range. I hope it doesn't happen, but if it does, I hate to say I told you so. Just kidding. I like to say that sometimes. All right, anyways, that's all I have for you here for today. I'm going to take a closer look at KDA more consistently because it's more, it's a coin that a lot of people are requesting and want me to cover, specifically my community members, my patrons. So, you know, thanks again for the request. Thank you so much for joining me here today. And if you're not currently a patron, please consider doing so. It's a very awesome opportunity, and there's limited spots available this month, just based on the fact that I doubled in size this month alone, right? So I'm making sure that I want to have more one-on-one time with my members, and by doing that, I have to kind of restrict the amount of new members too. So either way, we're looking forward to getting to know you better. Thanks again for joining me here. We'll see you in the next one. You take care.